And at some point, Lucas takes this picture of her. And he sends it in an email to Chloe's agent. And in this email, he says, we, the Black Death Group, have kidnapped Chloe. And if you don't pay us 300,000 euros ransom, we're going to sell her on the dark web. And over the course of the week, Chloe sleeps next to Lucas in his bed.
Yo, what's up? We got another video today by Ray William Johnson. This huge TikTok star is in big trouble. Digital princess. What is this? Why did that remind me of the digital dancing? Hey, this is fun. What is that? Don't hug me, I'm scared. That's what that is. But hey, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it, okay? Let's go.
Her drama had TikTok in a chokehold. Let me tell you what happened to her. Now, her name is Digital Princess.
Was that?
She's 26. Cold.
Was that?
Let me.
Oh, okay. No, I thought her underwear were like OF underwear or something.
Now, her name is Digital Princess, and she's 26, and she's a TikToker living in Florida.
Hey guys, what's up? It is,
And she has built herself an audience of over 2 million followers.
Naturally.
Not bad. But one night in 2021, she screws it all up. Because Digital Princess is chilling at home, and she runs into a problem. She really needs to leave the house and go meet up with some friends. Problem is, she has this 4-year-old son, this kid, who we'll just call Lil Guy. And Lil Guy is asleep in his bed, and she either can't or doesn't want to take him with her. And so, Digital Princess just leaves. Like, she leaves him there. And she drives 11 miles away, I guess, to see her friends. Now, at some point, Lil Guy wakes up. And he's probably confused, maybe a little scared, probably calling out for his mom.
Yeah, I imagine
she doesn't answer. And once he realizes she's
Not
not there, he's like, guess I'll just go outside and look for her. So this 4-year-old kid leaves the house and starts wandering the neighborhood late at night looking for his mom. And an hour goes by.
Like, he has no concept of what's out there. He's just like, yo, where'd that woman who's taking care of me go?
And Lil Guy is still out there. But by this point, he's distraught and he's crying, probably feeling super scared. But then, around 10 o'clock, a local woman is out on a neighborhood walk. And she sees him and she's like, what the f*** is a little kid doing out in the road all by himself? And so she takes Lil Guy to a nearby neighbor's house and she knocks on the door. And she asks this neighbor if he can help figure out who this kid belongs to.
Good job,
and immediately, the neighbor calls the police. Minutes later, police roll up, and they talk to Lil Guy, and they ask him where his mom is, and of course he doesn't know, because he's 4. And so police start walking around the neighborhood, talking to neighbors, trying to figure out where this kid lives. And finally, they find his house, because it's the only house with the front door left wide open. And so they get the homeowner's number, Digital Princess, and they call her, and they're like, you know, your kid is wandering around out in the street looking for you.
Crazy.
And so she immediately starts driving
Crazy.
home. Minutes later, she shows up to her house, and there's police officers.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, all intents and purposes, like, if bro is asleep, you know what, no, I'm not even gonna try. I would try to find a silver lining here, but that is pretty irresponsible, I'm not gonna lie. At least, like, have someone there to look after him, you know?
Everywhere. An old Digital Princess is wearing a little black, like, cocktail dress. She's dressed like she just went out to the club. So to everyone there, it looks like she abandoned her kid to go out to some nightclub. And I don't think that's actually true, but whatever. This looks really bad for her. And so she immediately goes inside and changes into pajamas, which was smart. And so police, they start asking her questions like, where do pajamas
wait.
really bad
They already saw her though, right? So what does it matter?
And so she everyone there, like cocktail dress everywhere. An old Digital Princess is wearing a little black, like cocktail dress. She's dressed like she just went out to the club. So to everyone there, it looks like she abandoned her kid to go out to some nightclub. And I don't think that's actually true, but whatever. This looks really bad for her. And so she immediately goes inside and changes into...
What's the point of changing? They already saw
pajamas, which was smart. And so police, they start asking her questions like, where the hell were you? Why'd you leave your kid home alone? And Digital Princess is like, oh, I was just out buying laundry detergent at the 7-Eleven.
Cap.
I wasn't gone long. She was allegedly gone 2 hours. And they're
2
like,
hours.
do you have a receipt for that laundry detergent you say you bought? And she's like, nah. And she ends up showing them a bottle of laundry detergent. But here's the thing, the bottle she shows them
It's
is
half
half
empty.
empty. So she couldn't have just bought it.
So you just used all of that laundry detergent. That's what you're saying. What kind of story is this? People be saying anything to get out of it,
So
though.
police know that this is bullshit.
Yeah.
But then Digital Princess's mom rolls up, Lil Guy's grandma, because police had called her as well. And Grandma is shook that Lil Guy was left alone because, you know, grandmas be protective like that. But also, Grandma happens to live nearby. So Digital Princess could have called her to watch Lil Guy while she was
that's
gone.
what I'm saying. Like, if it's that deep, right, it's probably not even that late at night, for real. Like, if bro was asleep, it's probably not even that late at night. It's probably like, what, 7, 8 o'clock? He's young, right? So he's probably like knocking out around like 7, 8 o'clock, right? Like, you could just ask grandma. That neighborhood seems pretty nice. I'm willing to bet one of them would have probably.
And she didn't for some reason. But then Grandma drops a bomb.
Where's the nanny? I don't know where the nanny is.
Does she usually have a nanny?
She has a nanny. Yeah, a full-time nanny.
So apparently Homegirl also has a full-time nanny
Okay, then what's
that
going
she
on?
probably could have asked to watch Lil Guy. And so all this is looking really bad for her. And so eventually, bam, police arrest her. Here's her mugshot. And they charge her with child neglect while they temporarily
Yeah, like, what happened? Why did...
hand Lil Guy over to his grandmother. But then, 12 hours later, Digital Princess gets out on bail. So now she's free to go. And it's fine, none of her fans will
And she's
ever
back on
know
TikTok,
what she
bro.
did, and there's not gonna be, like, any kind of public backlash from any of this.
You know what this looks like, bro? I could just see the look on her face, bro. Literally ignoring the present circumstances to go be like, oh, let me go ahead and do this TikTok dance. Like, bro, come on now.
Know what she did, and there's not gonna
Literally
be, like,
just
any kind of
got
public
arrested for
backlash from
abandoning
any
a
of
child,
this.
bro.
Until... Here's the thing about the internet. The internet likes to talk. And news of Digital Princess's arrest blows the f*** up, and it starts trending. And people hear about it, and they're freaking out, and her fans are all mad at her, and they're turning on her, like, how could you do this to your own child? And they're making memes about it, like, dude, where's my kid? And this drama is everywhere on TikTok. Like, in 2021, this was the OJ trial of TikTok. And so now,
I didn't know
Digital
anything about
Princess
it.
has to respond, and she has to get on camera and make a statement, and so she does.
Hi guys, I just wanted to come on here and say that I do see your comments, I do see your concerns, and I know there's a lot of things being posted online that are very out of context and very much untrue. So
Oh, she's from Florida, right? Okay,
please do not believe everything that you will read on the internet.
But the thing is,
Bruh.
people take this as her saying a lot of untrue things are being said about what happened that night.
So it's
like
not
people are
untrue.
lying about the situation. However,
I mean, they probably were some people that were exaggerating it, but the situation itself was already bad. So, like, whatever the exaggerations were, saying that doesn't justify anything.
people on the internet are like, wait, bro, what untrue things are being said? We read the police report. But so then, Digital Princess seems to get, like, a little attitude about it, and she doubles down.
People online feel like they are entitled to know everything about
Bruh.
my life because I have a platform. And they think that they can demand answers from me about my life that has nothing to do with them. People online want to act like they know
People
everything
online.
about my life, when in reality, you only get to see 15 to 60-second clips of my life.
And this, of course, makes the internet even more mad at her.
Bruh,
now,
but you're
around this
literally-
time, the district attorney's office, who's prosecuting this case,
Like, she has a point. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like, this is not the time to be exercising that point. You actually did some super shady stuff, and they're just trying to ask as people who actually follow you.
drops a huge bomb on everyone. They've decided to drop all the charges against her. Now, it isn't clear if they didn't have enough evidence to prove child neglect or if this was part of some plea arrangement. We actually don't have that
Why'd they drop
information.
him?
But now Digital Princess feels vindicated. Like, she didn't get prosecuted and she has her kid back. She's probably thinking, hell yeah, I beat the whole internet. So then she decides to make a video to explain to her fans and all the internet her side of the story regarding
Okay.
what really happened that night.
Oh my
Here's the
god.
thing
Is she gonna
about
lie?
that,
She's
though.
gonna cap,
Digital
isn't she?
Princess also makes spicy content over on the OF.
Of course.
And she decides to tweet out that she'll only be
Oh my gosh, there's no way. Only be releasing it on OF? That is... This is like a terrible balance of like skillful marketing and devious circumstances. Just a terrible balance. Just trying to leverage that like
releasing her explanation video on
oh
her
my
OF.
gosh.
And that
she
if you
knows
want to
that
see
everybody's like, oh, everybody wants to know, everybody wants to see it, but now she's like, not only was she in the wrong, but she's literally like gatekeeping the answers and like paywalling the answers, bro.
you have to subscribe to her account. And this, of course, makes people
Yeah, that
even more
angered
pissed
people, for
off.
real.
They're like, you're using your child neglect situation to get people to
To plug
subscribe
the
to your
OF?
spicy account? What is wrong
Yeah,
with
that's
you?
crazy,
And
bro.
yeah, it does feel pretty sleazy. And so I presume, due to all the backlash, she never releases a video explaining what really happened
Never?
that night from her perspective on
Oh,
her
okay.
OF. Although she did make other statements elsewhere. But then,
Okay.
2 years later, in 2023, a YouTube channel called Explore With Us gets a hold of the
Oh, they
police
got the
body
dash
cam
cam?
footage of her
Or the
arrest
body
that
cam?
night, and they release it
Ooh,
to the
whoa.
public. And so the world sees that basically everything the police report had said happened that night actually did happen. Like, no one was making anything up. And so now, today, in 2025, you can go to her TikTok page, and pinned to the top is a sort of apology in text.
Oh.
Sort of an apology. Basically, she admits that she made some bad
Nearly as much.
decisions that night, and that she's learned a lot.
Wait, hold on. Bad choice that cost a lot was not nearly as much as it could have. Yeah, for sure. Watching that footage was like looking into a window at a different person. Something that would be a part of her forever, and she's accepted that. She had the mindset for months after she was arrested that her job was to prove to the world that she had changed. Until there was a moment in therapy where she realized it was a goal to change for her son. Since then, you don't hear her talk about it much because it's not her job to prove to anyone. Whatever. I guess that's fine. I'm not tripping about that.
And grown a lot since then. She seems to be in therapy over it, and
That's
you know,
good.
it's not a perfect statement, but it's something. And
Yeah,
since
I'll take
then,
it.
you know, the drama has died down, and she seems to have won some of her fans back. So, you know,
Aw.
good for her.
Aw. I thought this was gonna be way worse. That was actually pretty mild. Casey Anthony, it's not mild though. Let's go ahead and not. I don't feel like watching this junk. That is a waste of time. What else can we get into though? I want to do another one. You know we like doing 2 of these at a time now. Life in prison. I think there was. Hold on. She faked the whole thing. What did she fake? Why's her forehead so like round? All right. Let's look into this. What did she?
Did this
What did
woman
she fake?
fake her own kidnapping just to jumpstart her modeling career? Now, the woman's name is Chloe, and Chloe's 20 years old, living in London, and Chloe loves attention. Like, she's very fame hungry.
see
She'll
that.
take attention any way
We
she
see
can
that.
get it. And Chloe's
Not all
also
attention is
a
good
model,
attention.
and she's doing pretty well at that. She's got an agent, and she's like booking gigs and stuff. But one day in 2017, she gets an offer to do a shoot in Milan,
What's that?
Italy. And this is
Milan.
great for her. I mean, she'll make some extra money, she'll get some exposure, and she'll get to travel
Okay,
and
nice.
see Italy. And so
Aw,
Chloe
how
flies
cool.
from England all the way down to Italy. And there she takes a taxi to the location, which ends up being an old abandoned
Oh,
warehouse.
heck nah,
which
bruh.
an abandoned warehouse immediately sounds sketchy, but a lot of
Yeah.
modeling shoots happen in these kind of places because sometimes they just want that aesthetic.
It's the
So
only place
Chloe
there.
thinks, all right, whatever, and she heads in. Once she gets into the building, suddenly, boom,
kinda get it,
a
I'm not gonna
man
lie.
grabs her from behind and
they
another man
joking?
sticks her with a needle full of ketamine. And
Whoa.
pretty quickly, Chloe passes out.
Whoa, is that
Then
real?
the two-man handcuff her, put her in a duffel bag, and they throw her in the trunk of a car. And as she fades
Whoa.
in and out of consciousness, the kidnappers drive from Milan about 130 miles over to the city of Turin.
Nah, here comes Liam Neeson. He said, "You don't know me, but I have a man with a very particular set of skills." That's that's what's about to happen to them.
And there they end up at a little farmhouse away from the city. Once
Nah, they're
inside,
cooked.
she finally gets to meet her two kidnappers. This guy, Lucas, and his brother, this guy, Michael. So Lucas and Michael, they handcuff her to a dresser so that she can't run
Why?
away, and they just leave her there while she just cries, I guess. Then, about a day later, Lucas comes to talk to her, and he explains to her that he is part of this dangerous Romanian crime gang called the Black Death Group, which Black Death Group immediately
That's
sounds
so-
made up. But
yeah.
he tells her not to try and escape because the whole
That's so
farmhouse
corny.
outside is surrounded by Black Death Group foot soldiers. He then explains that Black Death Group is planning on selling her as a sex slave to some guys in the
Yikes.
Middle East, and that once these Middle
Yikes.
Eastern guys are bored with her, that they're gonna probably feed her to tigers.
Oh,
like,
nah,
what?
bro.
And at some point, Lucas takes this picture of her, and he sends it in an
Whoa.
email to Chloe's agent. And in this email, he says, "We, the Black Death Group, have kidnapped Chloe, and if you don't pay us
Whoa.
300,000 euros ransom, we're gonna sell her on the dark web." And over the course of the week,
Whoa.
Chloe sleeps next to Lucas in his bed. I guess she just happened
Huh?
to sleep somewhere that isn't the floor. But
What?
during that week, Lucas really starts to
telling
open
the
up to
story?
her. He tells her about being part of the Black Death Group, but he says that he doesn't really want to be part of the organization anymore. He had been thinking about leaving, but that he really wants
we
to
go.
rescue her,
Is this
and that he's
Stockholm
putting
syndrome?
himself at a lot of risk to do so. And so he's like, well, you know, you and I, we're basically on the same side. And I guess Chloe, like, believes him because she
Bruh,
begs
that's
him
the
to let her
Stockholm
go. I mean,
stuff,
she has
bruh.
a 2-year-old son at home, she
Yeah, she
says.
gotta get
and at the
home,
very
bruh.
least, she wants him
She
to
gotta
let
do
her
something.
see a picture of her son.
She gotta
and
do
Lucas
something. I
is
can't
like,
even blame
oh,
her.
snap, you have a kid? He
That's
then
crazy,
tells
bro.
her that the Black Death Group has certain rules they like to follow, like they don't traffic women who are young
What?
mothers. Which is weird that this
Hey, yo.
trafficking group has a strict code of ethics. Regardless,
gonna
because
lie.
she's a young
At least they have something, right? At least they have something. Now, that's not excusing any of their behavior because, like, they're still getting locked up if I'm looking at them. But, like, nah, bro.
mother, Lucas
At
says
least
that the
there's
Black
something.
Death Group has
For her
agreed
sake.
to let her go. And just like that, they went through all this trouble of luring her in and kidnapping her, but
Just
she
to
has
let
a
her go.
kid, so I guess their plans are totally foiled. Now,
This-
if what this kidnapper is
who's saying
doing
this?
isn't making sense
Who's
to you,
telling the
it's
story?
because the guy doesn't make sense. This kidnapper is full of shit. He's not a criminal mastermind. He's just a freaking
horny
liar.
guy?
There is
Oh.
no Romanian crime gang, the Black Death Group. There are no foot soldiers outside the farmhouse, and he certainly isn't about
What?
to turn on the Black Death Group in order to rescue Chloe.
Was this,
He
like,
and
awkward
his brother
Riz?
Michael pulled off this kidnapping by themselves in order to get some ransom money, but it also sounds like somewhere along the way, Lucas decides to try and smash with Chloe by telling her, no, but I'm really here to rescue you. But
Bruh.
whatever, Chloe doesn't know any better. She's scared for her life, so she believes everything he's telling her.
Anything
Anyway,
but this, please. Anybody watching this, any kind of Riz you have is better than this. I'm honest with you. Any Riz you have is better than this. This is down crazy.
after 6 days in captivity,
Whoa.
Lucas decides he's going to let her go. And he comes up with a plan to
Whoa.
exonerate himself as well and
Exonerate
make himself
himself?
look like a hero. His idea is to drive Chloe to the nearby British consulate. Then they will both just walk in. And Chloe can lie to them and say that he's her friend and that she called him
What?
to come rescue her. And she'll
What?
get to go back home, and Lucas won't get in trouble with the police,
What?
and he'll look like a hero. And so
What?
Chloe agrees to this
Nah,
plan,
he actually
and he
kidnapped her,
drives
bro.
her to the nearby British
But honestly,
consulate.
getting out of there is more important than like the details of like whether or not like that guy was actually the kidnapper, because that can be handled later, right? That can always be handled later. You could like call back the consulate and be like, oh, by the way, yeah, that guy, he wasn't actually him.
The two walk into the building, and Chloe tells the people working there that she was kidnapped for 6 days and had just been released.
They
And then she
low-key, they
lies and
just
says that
kidnap
she
her
got
ass.
someone's phone and called her friend Lucas there to come save
nah,
her,
bro.
and that's what he did.
Bro,
and I'm sure the
Demon, bro.
consulate's like, holy
Well, I mean,
shit, what the...
it's a tough one, because like he did let her go. Why did they let her go? It was just because he was interested, though, right? Or did they? It wasn't because they felt like it was wrong, right? I don't know.
And so they get the police involved. And pretty quickly, Chloe is telling
he
this
probably does
whole
need to go to
story to
jail,
the
low-key.
police that she was kidnapped, but that Lucas came to rescue her. But see, police,
lying,
they're
bro.
skeptical that Lucas actually came to rescue her. She claims
Okay, the
that she
police
called
are
him to
on
come
it.
help her.
Alright.
So the police are like, oh yeah? Well, what's Lucas's number? And Chloe's like, because, you know, she doesn't know it. And so police are like, all right, tell us what really happened.
Oh,
So
yo, nah, they're clean with that. Because if you're in a random place and you have to dial somebody's number, like by heart, right? I could dial 3 people's number that I know, like off the top. Like if I'm ever like in a place, right? I could dial 3 people's number off the top of my head to call. But like she said she called that man Lucas, and then like now she can't recall his number. Crazy.
And Chloe tells them what really happened. That she went to Milan for a modeling shoot, and that when she showed up, Lucas himself and his brother Michael actually kidnapped her. And so police investigate all this, and they immediately find that the Black Death group doesn't exist, like it's completely made up, and that Lucas is just a shady dude.
He's just
However,
a Minecraft model,
they're
bro.
also
That's not
skeptical
shade
of
to Minecraft
Chloe's
mods.
story. Because
He's
they
a
have
Reddit mod,
evidence
bro.
that while Chloe was being held captive, Lucas took her shoe shopping.
He said the
and
Black
they were
Death group, bruh. That's the most like XX Super Slayer 69XX name. Get out of here.
that while Chloe was being held captive, Lucas took her shoe shopping.
He bought her
and they
some
were
Balenci?
holding hands in the store. Lucas also took her to breakfast at a cafe at one point, and she didn't like try to run away or anything. And why was she so prepared to lie for the guy, her own kidnapper? Was it all a hoax? I mean, she really loves attention, we've already established that, but was she in on it, hoping to get some fame from it so that she can jumpstart her modeling career? And when police ask Chloe all this, she basically claims that she was just being nice to Lucas because she believed that the Black Death group were all around watching, and that Lucas was actually trying to help her get away from them. Anyway, and so, kaboom, this story blows up, and the media's all over it, like, wow, a model gets kidnapped. However, a lot of them are doubting Chloe's version of events.
Many accused her of making the whole story up, an elaborate publicity stunt for fame and fortune.
Also, bam, police arrest Lucas.
Yeah,
Here's
they
his
got him.
mugshot. And
Yeah,
Lucas
get him
tells
outta here,
police
bro.
a completely different story. He says that he and Chloe actually orchestrated the whole kidnapping together to give her more fame and jumpstart her modeling career.
Whoa,
However,
so
when
that's where
police
that came from.
investigate and look into everything, they
It's
find
cap.
no evidence that he and Chloe dreamed up
Ever
this whole scheme
communicated.
together, but they do find mountains of evidence that Lucas and Michael acted
we're
on their
planning to
own
kidnap.
accord. And so,
Yeah, get him
bam,
outta here.
they eventually
Get him outta
arrest
here.
Michael too. Here's a picture of him.
Outta here.
And so
Why'd
Lucas
they
is
take
found
that picture?
guilty of kidnapping and extortion, and he gets 16 years in
Nice.
prison, while Michael is also sentenced to 16 years in prison. And
Nice.
thank you to
Leonardo?
Leonardo.ai for sponsoring.
Shout out to Leonardo.ai, but also shout out to you, Ray William Johnson. W video, that was pretty fun and entertaining. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments. That's gonna be it for right now. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you want to see some more, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.